What is going on, Panthers Nation? Carolina Dad here. I am back doing a little breakdown for you guys to start looking at some potential free agents with ties to Dave Canales. So these are guys that he has worked with, previous team, which really, if we think about that, it's really been the Seattle Seahawks and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from this past year. Jumping right in. Let's take a look at who is available. Leonard Williams, and I think when you look at who's available, you really have to think about offensive guys. I mean, there is a chance, and that he interacted and knew guys on the defensive side of the ball, but it's hard for me to envision that you've got a defensive guy that's like, oh yeah, I want to go work out with Canales in Carolina. There's not many names on the list, at least for the Seattle Seahawks, that jump off the page and make me go, oh yeah, that'd be a really great fit. There's 3 names that I wanted to dive in. Some of them, or 2 of them, I should say, are guard positions. We know we need help at the guard position. You got Phil Haynes, who's a little bit older, and then Damian Lewis. And if we take a look at these guys, Phil Haynes played almost all the snaps, pretty good portion of snaps, so I guess he played technically half of the snaps. Played a lot more in 2022. We did not see him as much in the 2023 season. Younger guy, at least by experience standpoint, but is a little bit older as far as age. Came out of Wake Forest. He was a 4th-round pick in 2019. Could be a potential to have as a backup on this team. But the other is Damian Lewis. And Damian Lewis is a little more proven. Younger, 3 years of experience out of Louisiana State. He was a 3rd-round pick, 69th overall, so definitely a pretty good guy. In his years in the league, I guess technically this doesn't count this past year, so it's 4 years. He played in almost every snap on the offensive side of the ball. 876 snaps, 93.7% snap count. Now, pricing-wise and market value, I think he would be affordable, at least in my opinion. I know it's a little bit higher end to pay for an offensive lineman, but to get a starting offensive lineman at the guard position, which we need, I'm all here for it. So I think Damian Lewis is one that I would watch. Now, the other out of this group, go back to this list, again, we're really looking at offensive players. Noah Fant, and I know that he came from Denver, but he did have some interactions with Canales. And when I posted this online, I don't know, it was in the past week or so, people thought I was trying to say like he was the answer and the solution that we needed. I'm like, no, you pair him with Tommy Tremble, Hayden Hurst, and see what he can do. And I don't know if that also means Ian Thomas is gone. It's a whole different conversation. But when we look at his stats, I mean, it was almost similar to Hayden Hurst last year coming in, who had more receiving yards than all of our tight ends combined. Not quite the same, but still a reliable tight end. 414 receiving yards, 32 receptions. Did not have a receiving touchdown this year, so maybe that is something that would worry you if you're looking to get him. But you look at 2022 when Canales was there, and I know, again, not his role. 486 yards, 4 touchdowns. So in general, and I know he kind of declined, his 3 years in Denver probably were clearly better than his time in Seattle. But I think it is a name that you've got to watch. Now, hopping back over, we got to take a look at good old Tampa Bay. And I know there's a name on here that y'all are going to recognize right off the jump, and that is wide receiver Mike Evans. Mike Evans, a little bit older, 30, be close to 31 heading into next year. And yeah, he is who he is. We've seen the 1,000-yard season ever since he came into the league. We've seen him torch the Panthers on every single Sunday. You've got to wonder, one, I think Tampa Bay is going to potentially franchise tag him. Like, it makes no sense for Tampa to let him walk. Just doesn't. But you have to think about, can the Panthers afford him? Because I think market value wise, yeah, $23 million a year. For a guy who's a little bit older, you maybe get a 2 or 3 year contract. I guess technically they're saying a 4-year contract. I don't know if we can afford that. Stat wise, stat wise, you absolutely can afford him. Like, no freaking doubt about it. No doubt about that at all. Like, we would love to have a true number one wide receiver here in the Carolinas. I think it's a stretch goal. I know I kind of joked once the dust settled with Canales, like maybe he could entice him. But going through the list, Devin Tompkins, I don't even know that I've heard of him. Yeah, I'm going to say this guy probably doesn't have any stats. A little bit. Not really much, though. Probably more than likely special teams guy, which ain't good for him. I mean, you can always use help on or with special teams. Let me close some of these out so it's a little bit easier. David Wells, same thing. You do have 2 tackles here. And I'll pull both of these up since we're doing this. Like, why not go ahead? And a few guard positions as well. Let's see. Justin School. Yeah, it doesn't look like he played that much. Brandon Walton, same thing. So I don't think we would want to take a look at that, but we do have 3 guards that are available. And let me open the 3 guards up very quickly, or at least try to. So Matt Fiedler? Yeah, so, he played all of it. So he's bounced around quite a bit. Pitt, Chargers, and then with Tampa Bay. Is 31 years old, close to 32, so a little bit older. But again, as we talk about backups and people that could potentially come here, I think it would be a name that I would watch as well. Aaron Stinney, excuse me. Actually pretty, he played 62% of the snaps out of James Madden, undrafted guy. I think he's another that I would watch. Like, we are going to need help at the guard position. No doubt about it. It looks like the last one, Nick Leverett on the list. So that's your list. And just because I'm on here and, why not? Let's do a kind of a bonus round here and look at a few other guys. So I showed you the free agent tight end. So Noah Fant is the 3rd ranked tight end in receiving yards. Also the youngest out of this group. I don't think Schultz is leaving Houston. Hunter Henry, a little bit older. But, not bad. Not bad at all, especially look at the market value, at least of him right now. I have wide receivers. There we go. And we'll look at it for receiving yards. Mike Evans, talked about him. Biggest name out there. Think Michael Pittman as well. Don't think the Colts let him go. Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is a name to watch as far as a big receiver to target. 1,016 yards, 8 touchdowns. I'd love to be able to get him. He does have the explosiveness that we need if he does become available. Buffalo, started getting into kind of, I don't really want to call them tier 2, but these lower tier guys or middle tier, Gabriel Davis, Rashid Shaheed, all of these guys would be big pickups. Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. We're hearing that T. Higgins likely is not going to want to, leave Cincinnati, or Cincinnati's going to not let him walk, I should say. Curtis Samuel, one-time Panther, once a Panther. I think he would be a great addition. Josh Reynolds from Detroit. Not as high on Hollywood Brown. I would love to have Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown here, but from a standpoint of he's the home run, I don't think he's the guy. You got to have someone with him. Another guy, from Houston, Noah Brown. Odell Beckham, who was just nowhere on Sunday in the AFC Championship. Odell Beckham Jr. KJ Osborne, I should say, and then DJ Chark. DJ Chark, there's your case for bringing him back or potentially bringing him back. So, yeah, guess we'll see. Anyways, folks, that's all I got. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.